Okay, everyone, investing your profits. I did say it, the word profits, but I mean, it's the thing that we get from any successful venture, and investing it and reinvesting it is the wise thing to do, or so you would normally think. But a lot of people maybe not. So we're going to talk today about turning your earnings into that enduring wealth for a longer term, rather than just hitting that high point with your profits and they just disappear. You really have to have a plan in place. And I think, yeah, on you
For
go.
most for most landlords to be thinking, what's a profit?
Well, I know, and and then I think and it's a bit of a taboo thing as well, because landlords, if they do make a profit, don't want to voice that because then they get vilified for it. But
But it's appalling. In America, it's not seen like that, is it? But yet in the
no,
UK,
absolutely
this
different.
profit seems to be a dirty word,
Yeah,
and I just don't get that. I don't understand that. You need a profit in order to make sure you can reinvest in your business
yeah,
and actually be able to pay yourself potentially. Because a lot of company directors actually take their money out via dividends.
yeah,
So, they maybe make a profit. They have to pay 25% or 20% corporation tax, depending on what the rate is at the time. And then they have to pay tax on it once they take it out, which is the dividend tax at
yeah,
8.75 now, or higher if it's a higher rate at 33.75, I think it is. Or you take it out PAYE and you're still paying. But that route, the first route, the former way to do it is how to get more money in your hand. You're kind of still paying the same amount of tax anyway. So
yeah.
it's an urban myth that the wealthy don't pay tax, or the wealthy, what people are thinking about wealthy. Because we can't just think about billionaires as being wealthy
No.
and no one else, because there's hardly any billionaires in the world when you think about it.
In
And that's
comparison,
nowhere
yeah.
all the mainstream money and the tax comes from, because their businesses are all, well, it is to a degree, because their businesses are all the ones that pay money, pay the tax anyway. Anyway, we've digressed. I just
No,
wanted
no,
to explain that to people.
yeah, yeah, no, you're right, and it's all relevant. But I think with the profit thing, and hopefully we'll come back to buy to let and portfolios, and hopefully get a lot of insights into how you've reinvested into your portfolio over the years, Jim, and the benefit not just to you but to the tenants and things as well. So
Mm,
we'll touch on that quite a lot as we go through. But it's not just buy to let portfolios; it's any business, any successful venture. If you're an entrepreneur and you're involved in whatever, if you've had a successful venture, then the moment will come when you've got profits and they will start to appear. And it's a gratifying sign. But then what do you do? It's what you do next, I think, really then determines, are you going to be further successful? Are you going to build wealth? Or are you just going to blow it all and then start off again and do something different? Which a lot of people
mm.
do, surprisingly enough.
That's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think there is that defining moment when you're at that point of making profit. And if you're not, here's a question to you, Jim, then. I suppose you've been at this point and maybe you already had it figured out, but people that don't, what if you're not sure what to do then in terms of reinvesting in your own business or reinvesting in somewhere else? What should you do? Who should you turn to? What kind of people do you speak to in terms to guide you in the right direction? I mean, you've got mentors that have helped you through the years, or did you always have that plan in your head yourself?
No, as soon as I started to make a profit, I always reinvested it.
Yeah.
Um, but I always had a core amount I needed to survive on, and
Hmm.
I had calculated what could we survive on every month, bare minimum. Um, and because for me, it was a case of the more I reinvest, the quicker I get to my ultimate goal, which was financial freedom.
Yeah.
So why would you not be temporarily ambitious to be permanently lazy
Hmm.
if you knew that was guaranteed? And it is. It's guaranteed when you get to that stage. Or even before you start that journey, you can guarantee it. It
If you've
is
planned it
just
out right.
purely
Yeah.
down to, yeah, it's purely down to a numbers game.
Hmm.
And I don't think I think most people don't believe in themselves enough to understand that they could actually do that.
I think that's a thing that across the board a lot of people struggle with, the self doubt and not believing in yourself and being able to, although you're capable enough and know that you're capable enough, people always have that fear and that doubt in themselves, which is quite a
Yeah,
hard thing to overcome.
that's the only thing that holds them back. This
Yeah.
this thing up here, the 6 inches between your ears,
Hmm.
it's your brain. It's the way you think. It's the way you perceive yourself. It's how confident you are in yourself, and it's how you move forward. It's the discipline, consistency, and the determination. and the never give up mentality.
Yeah, there's a book that I've got myself at the moment, and it's called "The Mountain Is You," and it's quite actually, when you read it, it's quite true, and how you hold yourself back from doing things and being successful in your own mind. It's quite a good one. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of profit, instead of treating it like a reward, you should really think of it as a responsibility, and that seed to plant within your future, basically, to build up your financial freedom, if that's what you're aiming for, or to obviously progress into maybe a different business aspects, or just to grow your business as it is. And if you, like, I know, Jim, one of your main things was to, well, financial freedom, as you've said, but also to leave this legacy and pass it on down generations, which I'm sure a lot of people, do you know, their retirement and then pass it on. That might be a lot of people's plan.
Until I fall out with my kids, and then I'm not leading them anything.
Well, right, okay.
They can fend for themselves.
That's inherent.
We've had this conversation actually the other day. I actually spoke to Elaine about this and went, wait a minute, I'm just doing this for everyone else except me and you. And it's like, this is crazy. So I've kind of pulled back on that a bit, but we're working that out. I'm still working that out now. It's interesting you actually mentioned about the seed of the future opportunity, because that's effectively what investing is. It's planting loads and loads of seeds, and some of them will grow quicker than the others. You see yourself when you plant, for example, you sow the seed on a new lawn.
Yeah.
And then you see all different, you're like, wait a minute, I sowed them all at the same time. How's the lawn patchy? How is that possible? How did the lawn get like that? It's like, surely they would all grow at the same speed. They don't. So that's kind of
more water than others. So something more attention.
I don't think it's anything to do with that. It's to do with the biometrics of possibly the lawn, areas which are fertilized and areas which are non-fertilized.
Some of the soil have more nitrates or something than other parts.
Yeah, that's probably, you say it better than me. Nitrates and stuff like that to allow the plants to grow. There's more sunlight to get in certain bits, and it nurtures it more. And that's kind of what your investments are like. It's look at it another way. If you've got a family and you're a father or a mother, your investment is your children.
Yeah.
So think about how you invest in your children. You teach them how to walk, you teach them how to talk, you teach them how to understand the way the world works and your perspective. You teach them your beliefs and your thoughts and your morals. You teach them all these things. That is an investment in the future in your children, so they can have children and the next could have children and all the rest of it. And I could get somebody out there saying, "Oh, I don't need to have children." It's like, okay, but the basic fundamentals of a human being is to procreate.
But yeah, it is. But I think even people out there that may think, "Oh, I don't have children. You don't need children." But then you could always imprint on someone that doesn't have to be your child. Do you know, other
exactly.
people and younger people, because they are the next generation. Really.
So it's the planting the seeds with these people as well. You become a powerful, possibly an influence on that person and the way you are. And if it's negative, look what you're doing to them.
Yeah.
And if it's positive, look what you're doing to them. See how I said that the same way, but I said it differently, and yet it sounded both. It's the same phrase. And that, when you think about it, is how you come back to how you think. See how you imprint that in them. See how you imprint that on them. See that? It's the same phrase, but I said it differently. One was negative, one was positive, and that's exactly how your mind works. So whatever you say,
the tonality of your voice,
it's your tonality. Actually nailed it there. Tonality. It's how you deliver that and how you say it to yourself, how it'll come across. This is why some people look at the exact same situation as someone else, but they see opportunity. Rent controls, beauty, opportunity on the horizon. Definitely. Where other people are on social media going, "Oh my God, the world's falling apart."
Yeah, it's the end of the world.
It's falling down. It's like, this is crazy. Rent controls are a great opportunity for landlords. But they're also a good opportunity for tenants. But it benefits both parties. And that's how I see it. So you can look at the world in a positive way, you can look at the world in a negative way, but guess what? It's the same world.
Yeah.
It's not any different. Because what is about to happen in the next 30 seconds, whether you look at it in a positive environment or a negative environment, is the same thing that's going to happen in the next 30 seconds, whether it's positive or negative.
I've definitely learned, especially over the last few years and things, is the way you think about things, especially if things go wrong and you think, instead of thinking, oh no, this is a catastrophe, how am I going to think, right, okay, what's the opportunity here? How could we change things, make things better, move forward in a different way, rather than wallowing and thinking, oh, this is terrible. Do you know, it's definitely how you approach it.
I spoke to, and I've maybe spoken to you about this as well, how, what is your core objectives? Is it like 3 things? Okay, I want to build wealth. I want to acquire finance. I want to do, you know, whatever it is, something else. I want to be a fantastic role model for my children.
Yeah.
So there's the 3 things that you've got. And everything you do from now on, you think, oh, it's going to take up a lot of my time. You have to then think to yourself, is what I'm about to do, it's going to take up a lot of my time, in alignment and congruent with my 3 goals? If it's not, you've got to say to yourself, what's the point of doing it then?
Yeah. Is it worth your time? Is it really worth your time? Yeah.
Is it worth that investment of time? I had a conversation with somebody just the other day, and he was asking about, you know, oh, do you teach people how to build wealth and all the rest of it? I went, yeah, I teach them for nothing. That's it. And then I went on to say, but I don't. And he says, so do you have subscription service? No, I don't charge anybody anything. I says, because if I was to charge somebody something, I'd feel a complete responsibility for guaranteeing their wealth, for guaranteeing them. And in most situations, I would be more positive about and more forceful about them developing a huge amount of wealth than they probably would be themselves.
Yeah.
So I'd want it more for them than they want it for themselves.
I believe you would, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what makes it really difficult for me, and that's why I can't charge anybody for anything, and that's why we do this, and we basically give out this information for free. It's like there's no upsell here.
It's up to people what they want to do with it, yeah. And if you want to listen and implement, then yes. If you don't, then you don't need to.
And this is where the value add is for a lot of people, and they don't see it. They just see something like this and they think, oh, it's free. He's not selling anything. He's not really teaching anything that he's trying to sell. He's not got a book. He's not got this. He's not got that. So it mustn't be that important.
Yeah.
That is absolute lunacy. That is called the height of ignorance.
Yeah, there's so much.
Because what I lay bare every single week is how I've built millions in wealth. And everything that I've done to do that, and the attitude you have to have that, and what I'd recommend other people to do in certain situations. This is what we impart every single week. And most of the people will just gloss over this and think, it's not that important.
Yeah, and a big part of that, obviously, like you say, it's having the right mindset, the right drive, the right mentors and things. But it's using your initial success and profit and reinvesting it back in and building your business, and that's how you've got to where you are. Yeah. I'm going to move on. We're going to talk about reinvestment and a wee bit more depth. But yeah, just to round up, I think all too often people do treat their profit as, do you know, that end point? They think of it as an end point and a chance to kind of maybe spend their profits, possibly celebrate. Now, not just saying don't celebrate your wins, but don't over celebrate and splurge on, you know, extravagant holidays and things like that on your initial profits. Use them to further yourself and build on your business of what you've already got. You can take a bit of time to relax and things, but keep up that momentum, and don't just stop after you've done all that hard work. Celebration is kind of healthy, and you should do it and enjoy the fruits of your hard work. But if you stop there, you could really limit yourself and your profits, and where you could get yourself to be with those profits. So true financial growth begins when you learn to transform today's success into like tomorrow's stability as such, and that happens when you invest your profits. And that's where we come on to reinvesting and kind of, as I'll call it, growing within. And what I mean by that is, rather than branching out and doing other things and other businesses, which you can, and other avenues, grow within your business that you've already got. Jim, a prime example of that is your buy-to-let portfolio.
Yeah, let's
Reinvest,
then
reinvest, and
let's then discuss. This is, I'm going to put you on the spot, Richard.
yes.
Okay. What do you do your dividend every year?
What do I do with my dividend? Is sitting in my savings account. But
Your savings account? I would have had it in your pension.
Well, I put so much into my personal pension. There is a reason it's in my savings account, because I've got a figure that I'm trying to get to, which I've not told you that actually, but there's a figure I'm trying to get to, coupled with saving and my dividend, and then there's a next part to my plan.
And what is that? Can we get an insight into that, or is that private just now?
It's not private. It's not, but it's obviously to then start building my own. I mean, I've spent a lot of years.
To buy property.
Yeah, but I need to get to a figure. I want to get to a certain figure before I could do that properly.
Okay, good. So what I do with my dividend, it goes straight into my other company. So therefore, it's not taxable because it comes straight out of. So it's not taxable because it comes straight from one company to the other. Yours is taxable because it goes to you personally. So I keep it nice and neat and keep it within my companies. So therefore, it's not taxable. It goes straight to that company, and then that company then reinvests in more property or reinvests in the current stock and improving it. And that's how I continue to build wealth. And if I want dividends, right? If I want a dividend personally, I'll take it out of my other company, my parent company. And then that's when I'll be taxed at that rate. But we've discussed this before about having, your basic pay, your basic personal allowances, your salary, and then taking the rest out as dividends, because that's the most tax efficient way to do it right now.
Yeah, you definitely need to have that plan.
So it's all about, I would say, it's all about, you've said it there, growing from within and using all that wealth that you build up and trying to make it as tax efficient as possible, so you're not actually taking it out. But remember, just for anybody out there that doesn't understand what's going on here, can't complete the full picture here, I pay 25% tax on that money before it actually gets transferred as a dividend. So you have to pay corporation tax on it. So it's 25% tax. It's irrespective. That's why from company to company, you're allowed to transfer it with no tax, because you've paid tax on it already. And it's your company, it's 25%. Whereas as an individual, when you take it out to them, it then gets taxed at individual rates. So you've got an additional tax upon the 25% of the profit you're taking off as well. So you're about 33.75, isn't it? Overall. And that's kind of where PAYE is, round about that level. It just means that you've got less tax with the money in your hand. Therefore, you keep more money in your hand rather than actually the company keeping more money. So it's easier to get more money out with the same resources, if that makes sense. So you're moving the tax burden to the company rather than to you as an individual.
Yeah, because for me, for instance, if a dividend was to come through to me on the salary, I would pay a lot more tax than what I do. But because it's come to the company as a dividend, the company's tax, and then I pay less. Yeah.
And then you've got the employers' national insurance and stuff like that, and pension costs, which I don't have. I don't get that. So there's a bit of saving there as well for a company director or somebody who owns their own business and their own with their own company, not their own business as a self-employed person. So that allows them to invest more back into the business, and if you leave it there, so you get taxed once on the business structure, and then you can reinvest it back in if you don't take it out yourself personally. So every dollar reinvested or every pound reinvested wisely plants another seed. Here we are again. You just want to grow big, massive bloody orchards. Just huge orchards. It's like the Amazon. Not Amazon itself, but that's an example. You want to go to a forest. You want to grow a forest, and then you want to grow another forest, another forest, another forest. And the next minute, oh my God, it's like every single one of these trees are bearing fruit every single time. Some of them will fall off, some of them won't. Some of them will maybe wither away, stuff like that. That's just like normal investment structure and how things work. So reinvest in profits. It's the same when you go into a fund, an ISA. You could probably put everything back in. When you go into your pension, everything goes back in. So everything your pension generates is tax free, ISA tax free, and then it just stays where it is, and then you can reinvest it back in again, and make it generate more. So it then gets on the concept of compounding, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and compounding's the most important thing, because once things start compounding up, and it's like you say, when you start with one property, X amount of years, you buy your second property, X amount of years, do you know, and then all of a sudden you're 5, 7 years down, and then you've went for one property, and then you're buying 2 and 3 at a time possibly.
Yeah. So then we get to talk about, wise investors know the importance of balance. Not really sure. That's maybe not applicable to me. Balance? Is there a balance? Is there really? It's all or nothing.
Yeah, but I think there is still a coherent strategy. Obviously, I mean, take your ones that you purchased, and just on the other side, like lockdown and things. That portfolio, you knew needed a lot of work, and I mean, we've done a good part of it, but we're still doing that, and it's continual reinvestment. The new values, they've been valued back up higher value. You've got good rents, you've got good properties, you've got good tenants, and it's just totally turning the whole thing around.
But then other financial gurus or furus, you never know who that is, and the fake gurus, they seem to have this rhetoric about diversification. You've got to have fingers in all your pies, and it's like, oh my God, it's like, really? A jack of all trades is a master of none. If you core specialize in a certain subject or a certain investment, and you know everything there is to know about that and how it operates and how it works, and you're almost become the Yoda of that investment strategy. That's kind of where you want to be, because you can't fail at that. And even though you do fail, you only go back a wee bit, and you don't go as back as how everybody else has gone back at diversified.
Yeah.
And it's a classic. Let me show you. Let me tell you a classic example, and you can jump in after that. The classic example of that is the FTSE. It was sitting at 7,700 maybe, or was it 8,000, something like that. Trump announces tariffs. The FTSE drops, over the next couple of days by about 1,000 points. Everybody else runs for the hills. Oh my God, chaos! The market's collapsing, and I'm like, let's invest as much. How much have I got? Buy. And I went in and bought, and within a month it had recovered again, if not better than before. And I had basically made 20% in a month of my investments just because I did that. Because I wasn't afraid, because it's like, this can't go any lower. And if it does, it will always bounce back anyway. And if I lose it, guess what? Everybody else has lost theirs as well, and we're all going to hell in a handbasket. Who cares then? At this point in time, who cares? We're all scavengers. We've nothing left to live on for that reason. The world has collapsed as it stands. So why are you bothered if you're going to have anything left or not? Nobody's got anything anyway. And there's nothing there. There's nothing to buy. There's nobody's making it. Everybody's just running about fighting each other for survival. That sort of Armageddon sort of strategy.
Apocalyptic world, yeah.
Well, that's the kind of thing. That's kind of how I look at it. It's like, if you lose everything, and everybody else is going to lose everything as well, all the pension funds will lose everything as well, because they're all invested in the stock markets. So if that all went, and then everybody's going, and then everything rebalances, and everything rebases, and then what happens is, you're rebasing, they're rebasing. So while your £1 million that you've got now is worth 200,000, their 100,000 is only worth 20 grand.
So it all kind of correlates, really, anyway.
Yeah, it's like the classic example about house price. Oh my God, house prices have decreased. I can't sell my house anymore. It's like, because I'm not getting that 20. I've lost 20%. You've not lost 20%.
You could be buying at the same level.
You've got to buy something at 20% less now. It's like you've not lost. You've only lost maybe on the marginal difference if you're going up or down, or you've gained on the marginal difference going up or down in that market, because it's a percentage. But that's all you've lost. It's like, you've not lost anything. You've never even cashed it in. And it's a classic example about property. I've not cashed it in. The number means nothing to me. It's just the money that comes in every single month from the rent. That's all I care about. That's all I'm bothered about. And how do I look after the tenants to make sure that comes in 100% all the time? And the occupancy rate's always high, and the service levels are obviously always high as well. So this is what most people don't understand.
Yeah, and it's true what you say about, the rebalancing or recalibrating and things. And the key to that is it will always happen. It just takes time, and that's what
And why
people
would I
don't.
need to? Why would I need to then diversify? That's it.
And
Yeah, I mean,
diversify is the thing that is thrown about quite a lot, and been a lot of training things over the years and things. But
the furthest I've got in diversification, overseas property for Spain, the estate agency, letting agency business, pension, and that's it.
You do a little bit of stocks and things, but not anything.
No, it's pension.
Yeah.
I am not going to trade stocks without it being in my pension. That doesn't make sense, because I'm getting tax efficiency with it, and plus the fact there's no getting taxed any gains because it's staying in there. So there's no way I do that. So it's like, and if I need money, I know where it is. I can get money readily as I need it, but I don't live on much. So that's what I'm saying about, I don't have a huge lifestyle. It costs me a fortune every single month to run. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
It's, the 2 car payments because you've both got cars and you're both paying them up or you're both leasing them. The massive mortgage because you've got a house far bigger than you need.
Yeah.
The huge holidays that you really can't afford to go to, but you stick on your credit card and just try and pay it back over that time. I just don't do anything like that.
No.
The only thing that goes on my credit card, and the only reason it does, is because I get Amex points and I get Avios and I get, air miles with BA. That's why it goes on my credit card. I get really upset if somebody doesn't take American Express. It's like, I'm losing money because I'm not paying them.
The living out with your means thing is a really big issue, and a lot of people fall foul to it. I mean, we've spoke before about, you said me years ago, I was going to purchase something that was a lot bigger than what I needed, and I'm glad I didn't. And one of my landlords I actually spoke to recently, and he was looking at buy-to-let investment things, and I was telling him where I live. I was like, I'm in a 2-bed semi, it's fine, it's all we need. And he's like, I bought a 6-bedroom house, and it was, and he says, I can't remember the last time I went up the stairs. He just lives, he's like, I live downstairs. So it's completely unnecessary, a total overhead that he doesn't need. But it's like, it must be the status thing, I don't know. He pulled up his fancy car and things, and he's obviously...
We're all conditioned like this.
Yeah.
Look at what's happening with the new financial teachings that they're going to do in schools in England. Oh, we're going to teach people financial acumen. No, you're no. You're going to teach people how to get a mortgage and basically fall into the system.
Back into the system,
Be the matrix. So you're going to get the mortgage. So in that instance, if you're teaching people how to get a mortgage, you're actually benefiting the banks. But if you're teaching people the difference between should you get a mortgage and shouldn't you get a mortgage, and here's some scenarios to show you if it's relevant for you, if it's worth taking out a mortgage, that is putting power in the hands of the individual.
Yeah.
So one of them benefits industry, one of them benefits the individual. Because as I've said before, sometimes it's not beneficial to have the mortgage and it's actually beneficial to rent.
Yeah. And
Think about, sorry, Richard,
no.
I'll give you a great example of that. Scott is over in Glasgow now at the Theatre Royal and the King's. So he's out for a temporary amount of time. And I says to him, maybe we should buy somewhere over there. He went, I'm only there for a temporary time. I went, how long? He says, about 3 months. And they might decide from there if they'll extend the contract or they'll keep him on permanently. And I went, okay, that makes sense now. Because imagine the exit and entry costs. So buying a property would be the mortgage arrangement fee, the broker fee, the bank's arrangement fee, as I said, the interest that you pay every single month on the mortgage, the legal fees, and maybe the stamp duty if it was in a certain price range. And then imagine 3 months later, he says, well, we don't need that anymore.
You're going to have to go through all that again and all that cost.
Pay all that again. Yeah. So it would make absolute sense to rent. And sometimes that is completely relevant, even if you're staying there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the economy is going to bring. And we all know the budget's going to be tax increases.
Yeah.
This is for anybody that watches this later on. This is November 2025, just before the budget. To date stamp this, and if we've got huge tax increases as an individual, that could affect the market completely, and property prices might actually come down. Interest rates might come down as well. Actually, base rates, talk about it, might come down. So we're in uncertain times. So that is sometimes not wise and just to rent, because renting you could go, I'm leaving in 28 days.
4 weeks, 28 days. You're that easy as that. You have nothing else to hold you. Yeah.
Aye, nothing. You've got no financial commitment at all. Can I get my deposit back? Thank you. That's it. I'm off.
Yeah, and as long as you've paid your rent and you've looked after the place, you could walk away, get a deposit back, no qualms.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah.
Definitely sounds great to me. That is a great position to be in, where you could just walk. If anything happens and it tanks or you lose your job, it's like, oh, fail safe. What do I do now? Okay, let's downsize or let's go a less expensive property. Notice I never said cheaper.
Yeah, less expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, because cheaper means inferior. Less expensive means at a better price point.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's all you need to
interesting.
do. I don't need a 2-bedroom. I only need a 1. So
Yeah.
you saved yourself another couple £100 a month.
It's interesting when you say about the notice period thing, and you're talking about Glasgow and Scott being across in Glasgow. My nephew's across in Glasgow at the moment. He's a student at the uni, and him and his they're flat sharing, and that was really difficult. They used the same agent that you were using. It was quite a difficult process, and it's maybe not the flat that they're going to stay in for the duration, or they might branch off and get their own one. But as I say to them, it's fine. Get your foot in the door, get settled in there, gets you across there. Then you've only got 28 days to give notice and move on. Find something else.
The
So that's
key here is
entry and exit.
the key here as well, and you've kind of touched on it, is when you're talking about investing profits, the income that you bring in and your employment is actually profits. It's the profit you're making on the work that you're putting in, the time that you're given. So you're actually making a profit. So this could be perfectly applicable to saving £200 a month. Because then you're saving £200 a month, then you can reinvest that £200 a month in something else. So again, this is another investing your profits, investing your income, your personal income, and turning earnings into an enduring wealth over time by building wealth.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to talk as well, obviously, like the mindset of things, and you've spoken about that. It's like, do you know, from earning to that kind of multiplying things, and there is quite a difference, or quite a subtle but kind of profound difference between somebody who's earning money and those people who actually build wealth. And it's quite hard for some people to differentiate between it.
Yeah, I think so. Earning and wealth are two completely different animals. Earning is clearly what you have to put in day to day for earning. Wealth is something that builds probably without your active management as such, or it could be somebody else's active management and you pay them to do that on your behalf. That's kind of what wealth is. You're not involved in it anymore to a degree, or you maybe want to be actively involved. I mean, I'll not lie about this. I was up at 4 o'clock this morning doing the accounts.
Yeah, I know. I think, but you're not about 4 o'clock yesterday morning. I'm sure you copied.
Yeah, I was doing admin as well because I'm going away.
I know.
Well,
yeah.
we're away to Necker, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're away to Necker Island. So we're going away there. So I need to get these accounts in, and I was just finalising stuff. And for me, my year-end accounts consists of 3 hours. That's it. Tick all that box. Tick all that box. Is that different from that? Is that different for that? Great. Save it on a disk, or save it on a pen stick, and put it into the accountants. Job done. Let them do it after that.
No floppy disks anymore.
I know, disk. Showing my age. 3.5. I'll just say no, a 5 1/4, a 3 1/2, just so I didn't take myself too much.
Yeah, and I think it's something that you always say, and that's what relates to. Do you know, if you're earning like your day-to-day earnings or your job, it's dependent on your ability to perform. Do you know, your time, your energy, and things. Whereas wealth, if you've got, for instance, a buy-to-let portfolio as a side hustle, and you've got an agent looking after it, it could perform without your input.
Yeah.
Or I mean, a minimal input, obviously.
And your earnings actually translate to your wealth. So the earnings is what you use to build your wealth.
Yeah.
So earnings comes first, then wealth comes next as a result. So it's how you use your earnings to build your wealth that's important, and that's why a lot of gurus tend to say that you should actually save 30% and put it in an investment fund. 30% is obviously tax, and the other 40% you live on of your salary. So 30-30, live on 40, and kind of that's how I did it. I mean, we got to a stage where we could comfortably live on £1,000 a month for everything when we first started out, and that was to us. We're a semi-detached 3-bedroom house, and the kids were just coming along, but we got rid of the cars as well. I maybe had my car, a company car. I had a company car as a result of that. But Elaine didn't need her car, so what was the point of having it? Just keep reinvesting the money.
Yeah. I mean, I've done the exact same, and still in the process. And I think it's like that discipline to really like consistently think, right, okay, I don't need to spend this, I don't need to spend this. And I always remember you saying that at one point you guys £1,000, and that was it. And it's like, I could do that. And do you know, it's maybe just point of readiness, obviously. I mean, we've done this for a long time, and you've always told me what you've done in your journey. But then maybe I was just still kind of spending and things. So in my own perspective, I'm like, now, like, I need to do this. Maybe it's because I'm going to be the big 4 soon, and I'm thinking I need to get my finger.
Oh, you've nailed it on the head here. I had somebody in the other day, and I was talking to him, and we were talking about me being vegan, and he says, and I says I was getting 110 grams of protein a day, and 55 grams of fiber a day, and all the nutrients and vitamins I need out of what I do. And then I showed him what I was doing for the diet. Anyway, I need something that will bulk me up, and I looked at him and went, but your proper weight. It says, what if you want to bulk up, build muscle, but don't put on weight. That's not the thing it should be doing. And the most important, and this is a wealth thing when you think about it, the most important nutrient you should have in your system is fiber.
Okay.
It's not protein.
Which is what everyone's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people do you know in this world that has ever died of protein deficiency?
Don't believe I could hear it. Yeah,
None.
never got to that.
How many people die of fiber? Lack of fiber.
Is that not like, mind you, was it not scurvy and things that people used to have? Yeah.
Fiber, well, scurvy is vitamin C.
Right.
But fiber is what your body needs to make sure it runs properly. Trust me, it is. It's fiber.
Right.
It's to make sure it's to make sure your whole intestinal system works properly, and it's to make sure the sugar doesn't get absorbed too quickly into your system and you get overloaded. It slows down the absorption of sugar, and therefore slows down how the pancreas has to work for insulin, to produce insulin to combat against the sugar. Because the pancreas is actually, and insulin is to combat against sugar overload.
The pancreas, I mean, all your organs are important, but your
And if you
pancreas.
become insulin intolerant, because you're overloading your cell all the time and your pancreas doesn't work properly, therefore that's what happens with inflammation all about your body, and that's how you get ill.
Yeah.
It's the inflammation that you get ill with. Every illness is back to inflammation. And it's all to do with insulin resistance, and it's all to do with the sugar consumption. But fiber slows this down immensely. That's why when you eat a bit of fruit, it's got fiber in it. It's a natural product. It's a whole food. It's got fiber in it, deliberately designed to slow down the absorption of the sugars in it. And yet we all squeeze it out the fruit and drink it raw.
Yeah. And
that's
take the
why
fiber out.
Yeah, that's why I use a cold press juicer, and that's why I actually add back in certain powders in order to give me a good protein content, but also essential to bring back in fiber into the diet to stop that huge absorption of that sugars all at once. Now, most of it's veg that I cold press, but the sugars, the fruit is just to give it a wee bit of sweetness. But I've got a huge amount of fiber content to combat that.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and a lot of people, like you say, they're geared towards protein, and it is important, obviously. But fiber, yeah.
Well, it's because the industry is caught on to it and thought this is the flavour of the month. Every single box you read on the thing, it's about your biggest protein, protein massive, protein mega, protein this and protein that, and that's all they talk about. None of them talk about fibre. But you know what? Once it becomes mainstream again, they'll go on huge amounts of fibre, huge amounts of this. The cheapest porridge oats, the cheapest oats in Aldi's
It's like 90
It's the
pence.
highest in fibre and the highest in protein. The cheapest.
Yeah.
And yet everybody walks by and thinks, oh, it's going to be the one that's more expensive. It's got that better nutrient. No, it's not. One that's more expensive has more crap in it.
Yeah.
And that's why they've had to make it more expensive. And it's got a fancy label to make it look good, and that's what costs money as well. And then they've got adverts to back it up, and that's what costs money as well. And they have to absorb that into the costs. That's why it's dearer. And you've not got a better product. It's inferior to the cheapest own white label. It's not even that. It's not even Lidl's one. It's just a white boring label.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
So when you think about that, that's another way. This is all about investing your profits for the future and enduring wealth. But your
We're talking
health
about
is your
discipline and things still. So
your health is your profit as well, though, Richard.
yeah,
Your
of course.
health is your wealth. No one lay on their deathbed and wished they had more money.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We talk about building wealth and using your profits to invest in your. But I mean, if you're not here to enjoy it or for your family to enjoy it, then yeah, you need your health.
And just to close that off, that to that guy says, look, you've got youth
Yeah.
on your side. You don't think about things like I think about, because I've got about 30 years on you, or 40 years on you maybe, for all I know. So I says that to him. I says, you don't think about these things. Your mortality doesn't come into frame of mind, but the things that you do now are essential so you can compound them for later on. You've got youth on your side, and compounding is where you should be at right now to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think my advice to anybody that if they were in, their 20s and things, 1 minute you're 20, I'm not old, obviously, but 1 minute you're in the 20s, and then the next minute it's like, oh, right, okay, where did that time go?
I remember slagging off making fun of my pal, slagging him off, and saying, oh, you're going to be a quarter of a century soon. 25. It's like, my God, I remember saying that to him. And I brought it up on the other day. Says to remember when I used to say to you about a quarter of a century, and we're 58 now. And I was laughing at you. It's like, look at me now.
But discipline in any aspect, whether it's your, reinvesting your profits, whether it's looking after your health and things, it's all relevant to your wealth and your success and things. And that brings me on to what I wanted to talk about, kind of like the purpose of doing things and the legacy. If you wanted to pass this on to your kids or build some sort of empire that you want to leave and function well
to hell with them.
Well beyond you being here. Well, I want you to elaborate on this, Jim, because I know that it's part of your strategy. So, but yeah, legacy and things. I mean, investing your profits isn't just maybe about the money, it's maybe about the meaning of why you're doing things. Probably about using your earnings to create something that, like I say, outlives you.
Yeah.
Like
what I would say to everybody out there that's starting out, build wealth for your children. Not your own wealth, but savings funds, pension funds from birth. Because the compounding effect will be brilliant. So by the time they get to about 30 and you're possibly about 60, then you've maybe built a huge amount of wealth through property or through any other investments that you've done with compounding as well.
Yeah.
And they've got a huge amount as well. So then you could actually enjoy more of the wealth that you built rather than actually think, I've got to keep it all for them. This is what I missed. This is what I completely missed out of here. When I worked out how much money my kids are sitting on at their age right now, in their 20s and early 30s, and I'm thinking to myself, once that compounds, it's like, they'll no need my money.
Yeah, they'll have their own.
So, but I will still do something. But it's like, no, I'm going to enjoy it. It's like, this is time to enjoy it rather than actually just keep living in this mentality. This is like some, and forgive me, pensioners, this is like some of the older pensioners who get into this mindset of they're going to run out of money. I'm down to my last 100,000. What? 100,000? Hardly anybody's got that. And then I'm sitting with a house that's worth 500,000. It's paid off completely. What? And you're sitting saying that you've got no money. You're worried that you're going to run out of money. You could literally sell your house and move into rented accommodation and pay somebody like $6,000 a year to live in rented accommodation for the next 20 years and still only pay what? $6,000 times 10, 60, 120 grand.
I've got a
But you
client like
then
that.
sold your house at 500,000. You've got 100,000 in the bank. So you paid 120 grand out for the next 20 years out of that 600,000 that you've got. But if you've invested that in the proper fund, that 600,000, you're getting an income out of that as well. So you've got your capital that's ready available. Plus you're making interest off it as well. Therefore, what are you complaining about? It's right there in front of you. And what happens is we get locked into this broke thinking mentality. This, like, I'm going to run out of money. I've got nothing. And you've got nothing because you've chosen to live with nothing for so long. You think you've got nothing, but in actual fact, when you have a bit of gratitude and you look about you and you work it all out about what you really truly have and net worth wise,
Yeah.
okay, I could liquidate some of that stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely getting that reality check and thinking, right, okay, and like you say, what's tied up. And I've got a client like that just now, and he contacted me about his mother's property in St Andrews, 6-bedroom detached house. She's in there on her own. She's 84.
I've got a mother like that as well.
And there's so
That's
many.
almost the scenario. That's almost the scenario I just explained to you there now.
Yeah.
Sell the house then. Just moving around accommodation. Release all that money. Oh, but I'll leave it for you. You're too late.
Mm-hmm.
You should have given me it when I was like my 20s or 30s, and I could have invested it at the time, and I would be even better off now. You're too late. So she said, I'll give it to the kids, the grandkids. Like, fine. It doesn't cause me a headache then about inheritance tax, if that's the case. Pass it directly on to them. And that's a classic scenario because, she does think she's skint.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's the mindset that people lock themselves into. So remember, for people out there, the purpose that you did this for and the legacy that you want to leave, but take stock of where the person is now that you want to leave it to. They might not need it anymore. They might actually tell you, look, just go and blow it. Go on a world cruise for the next year and have a great time. I don't need it anymore. That's me preparing myself. Go on a world cruise, planting the seed in my mind. Don't come back for a year.
I think as well, but like it's always good to have some sort of plan and some sort of vision. And even if you're not building something to leave a legacy or leave it to children or whatever, always have a plan in place where if you're building something that's worth something and generating money, if something was to happen to you, what would happen to that? Do you know who's going to look after it? Where's it going to go? You wouldn't want it to just kind of fall apart and all your efforts, whether you're not here or not, just go to waste. So
that's important.
Yeah.
I answered that on one of the taxation, landlord tax, I think it was, the Facebook group the other day, where somebody said it's like, what does everybody have in place? What happens if you popped your clogs tomorrow, would you? And I like, life would go on. Not mine, obviously, because I've popped my clogs. But life would go on. Because Tony runs the company. She runs the investment fund. You guys, yourself, you run the lettings division and property management. The sales division can take care of itself. And Elaine, everything would transfer because it's in a will to her automatically. And then it's her problem.
Everything would just be the same without you, Jeff.
Here, have all my wealth. It's like some people would be thankful of that, and it's like, oh my God, what a headache! All that wealth pushed on me all at once. But you've that's the ultimate to plan it out so life goes on. Life can go on without you. You just don't get too carried away with it. Don't work out and try to work out that you're dead already, if that makes sense. Because then you get into a mindset of pushing other people away and all the rest of it, and you pushed everybody away, and it's like, what are you pushing us away for? It's like, you'll be dead one day. Live your life for now and stop living it in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Plan for tomorrow, but don't live it in tomorrow. That's real good advice, actually. That was Richard Branson that gave me that.
Yeah, I've been watching. There's a few snippets for Richard Branson recently. He's obviously launching new parts of his business and things. So
Channel Tunnel. That'll be good. Have a wee chat when we see him.
Yeah, it looks really good. So yeah, but yeah, the purpose and the legacy, but yeah, always have a plan and have things planned out for the future is a really wise thing. We'll wrap up and do final thoughts on the investing in your profits and things. But I think firstly, like we've said, when you see your profits coming through, I spoke briefly when you nipped off camera, Jim, we were talking about, people want to celebrate and possibly, spend that profit. And there's not anything wrong with celebrating your milestones of success, but don't just kind of draw a line under it and kind of think, well, I've done it, I've made a bit of money. Keep that momentum, reinvest it. Let the celebration be the beginning of maybe that next chapter in your journey, not the end. Because a lot of people do that, blow all the money, and
they didn't leave anything for a reinvesting at all. It's more or less like just chopping down the tree that bears the fruits, and the fruit's now gone. Killing the golden goose that lays the eggs.
Yeah, and like we've demonstrated in there in discussion, it's true financial mastery as such isn't about the making the money. It's about multiplying it once you've made it, and managing it and molding it and making it into something that lasts and stands the test of time. Profit is that proof of your success, as we know, and investment is the promise of that sustainability moving forward. And when you combine those two things together and don't just build income as such, you build wealth with purpose attached to it.
Purpose, an end goal in mind, something that you're trying to achieve. If you don't, it's like ultimately, when we'll talk about this, and you'd nailed it when you says with purpose, that end result, what you're trying to achieve here. And I keep saying to myself, as I've said before at the beginning of this, it's the one thing I could say to people is, what is your end goal, and what you're doing right now, is that in alignment with your end goal? And if it isn't, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah, the three things you were saying, have those three things. And if what you're spending your time and what you're doing doesn't correlate to them or help you gain them,
if there's no alignment or working out to that, then you've got to question yourself, like, why am I doing it? It might be for other reasons, but why am I spending that time? The most important wealth you'll ever have is not money, time. Time.
Yeah.
Definitely time. So become a time lord.
Yeah, time is such an important thing. So use it wisely. And if you're having successes and making profits, think about the wise way to use those profits. Don't just kind of over celebrate your success in between, because there's a lot more to be had, and you can multiply that by investing your profits, as we've covered today. So thanks for that, Jim. That was quite good. Hopefully everybody got something from that. You can catch us as usual on Monday at 12:30. We will be back next week. And until then, I'll leave it there.
Bye for now.
Thanks, Jim. Bye.